Everybody, welcome back. It's another episode of Sport Federation TV, where, of course, every week we take a look at what's happening with sport in the Western Cape. Nice full show for you this evening, or should we say this morning, depending on what time you're watching. Remember, you're, of course, watching us here on Cape Town TV, DStv channel 263, and we talk about the various sports codes in the province. Of course, you will know that climbing is one of South Africa's top codes, and, well, you will, I'm not sure if you're going to see them in the Olympics, well, you're going to see climbing in the Olympics, but of course, in studio with me is the president of South African climbing, former president of Western Cape, Chris Naude. Chris, nice to have you back, Naude.
Hi JP, good to be back, and to the audience as well. It's nice to be telling everybody about this wonderful sport climbing is.
Yeah, how are things going in the world of climbing? Are you guys busy?
Yeah. Insanely busy
Yeah.
this year. We've got a lot of enthusiasm. We've opened up. We've got climbers going to European championships and world championships and World Cups, and it's the administration.
Well, I was going to ask you that.
I want to say thanks very much to all the administration people, because they've been working so hard this year. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, if you've got so many, you say World Cups, World Champs, I don't know how many I'm missing out here now, but the admin behind that is a lot of work. You've got to think about, what are all the kind of things that you have to think about? Travel, passports, all that?
Yeah, first of all, selections,
Right,
because we don't get an infinite number of people that we can just send anyone who wants to go.
Yeah.
So we have selection issues, which is quite it's a philosophical argument one can have, because you want to give opportunity to the best climbers, but you don't want to give all the opportunity, the only opportunity to number one. You need to grow a bit of depth in the sport and all of that sort of stuff. And we've got a number of people who are interested. Some of them we've had to reject, and others, sadly, and others have made it through, you know, and got that. So the selections is the first thing. And then all the travel arrangements. You've got to do all that in time for them to get visas and make their travel arrangements to these places. Then you've got to register them for the competition.
And what sort of cycles do you guys have with these big championships when you're talking about? I mean, we know the Olympics is on a 4-year cycle, and then some other competitions are 2-year cycles, and World Champs different cycles. What are the cycles for you guys?
So obviously Olympics is a 4-year cycle. This year's we've got four climbers going to the Olympics, so that's great.
Wow.
And the World Championships is on a 2-year cycle, so next year we'll have a World Championship and 2 years thereafter. And then there's going to be Youth Worlds coming back again at some stage, and the International Federation is talking about bringing in another level of competition. The World Cups happen every year.
Yeah.
And they're talking about bringing in a slightly lower level as well, which will open it up to more people, because at the moment they're battling to keep up with the number of people that want to go to World Cups.
From South Africa?
From South Africa, yeah.
Going to the Olympics in Paris this year.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you guys from an organizational point of view? I know you told us but in this case you obviously have SASCOC, the national structure, sending everybody as Team South Africa.
Yes, so but they don't go over as a whole group. So all the kit and all of that sort of stuff is organized, and that's great.
Right.
And they pay for the flights and the accommodation and all of the other stuff in the Olympic Village. So that's really important, because that can get a bit pricey. So this year we've also organized a training camp for them in a town about 2 hours outside of Paris.
Wow. So
they're going to spend 5 days there training on an Olympic wall, basically. Yes. It's a replica of the Olympic wall.
Just the four
of them, athletes. And the coaches.
And the coaches, yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be there training on that one. So that took a bit of organizing, and we've got a wonderful team managing that lot. So luckily I've been catching up once a week, but...
so with climbing, are team dynamics important, or can these athletes say, well, the team is just the traveling part, and I'm focusing as an individual? Because
I think that to a large extent that is it. You're not. It's not like a team sport like rugby or whatever, where the interaction between the climbers is really important.
Yeah.
I think that you obviously want to keep a nice Team SA kind of vibe going. You are a South African. You are there representing South Africa, and that's quite important to us.
But the camaraderie important. It's important still to have that support structure.
I think it is, and it's important. The day before when your nerves are. I speak like I've got experience here, like I've actually been there. but I think it's good to have a crowd of people that you are comfortable with, and everyone gets on well with each other and all of that sort of thing.
So what do the guys do now? We're now I think now about 90 days away from the Olympics. I think it was published just the other day that there's 100 days to go.
Yeah.
What do they do now for the next 3 months? Is it fine tuning, or do they only start fine tuning in the month before?
I think it depends on the individual, where they are and what their access to facilities are. So one of our speed climbers lives in Quebec, and the facilities there are not as great as they are in other places. So she's been traveling up to Gauteng to go and climb on their speed wall, which is the closest approximation to the Olympic one. So that leads one.
What comes next?
Thing.
You got world champs and Olympics and that. Is there a question of? We know that once you've competed in a big event, it seems to things taper off. People go home. They don't train as much. They don't come back to the club and keep the momentum. With you guys, have you got a long-term plan? Is it something that you say, right, well, you're going to train, we're going to give you a couple of days off, but then you've got to be back in the gym?
Yeah, well, we've got a few arguments about that one in terms of, not arguments, but discussions around what the best timing cycle is and how long you should give someone off for and all of that sort of stuff. So this year we've got some interesting things going, and the sports psychology working group at SASCOC is helping us with that one, because we're very keen to measure the psychological state of the climbers as well, before and after a major competition.
Right.
I think it's going to prove really valuable in the long term. How much time do you need to get people off? There's a lot of anecdotal information about someone who comes back from a major competition, doesn't perform as well as they'd hoped, is very depressed, and then somebody else comes back and says they didn't perform as well as they had hoped, and it motivated them intensely. So we need to get a handle on that one so that we can manage the athletes' expectations and their psychological state before and after a competition.
From a Western Cape point of view, clubs busy, socially, people active, it's winter now. Do you see a drop-off, or do they?
No. Winter is the climbing. We do see a bit of a drop-off in the climbing gyms. Because winter is climbing season for outdoor climbing.
I would have thought that it's summer. No, it's the other way around. Climbing.
So we're now into the Rockland season in the Western Cape, and everyone's headed up to the Cedarburg, where there will be many hundreds of climbers on any given weekend roaming the various different boulders and crags.
Amazing, Chris Naude, thank you very much for joining us. We can't wait to get you back in studio. Some of the athletes, if we don't see you before the Olympics, I'm sure we will. But good luck to all the athletes that are traveling.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, and thanks for having us again.
So there we go. Western Cape Climbing, of course, doing fantastic in the province. Of course, athletes from a South Africa point of view going to the Olympics, going to World Championships. Remember, you can, of course, find out more about climbing by getting involved in one of the club structures like City Rock or Block 11. Of course, they're in Deep River and in Pardon Island, and always fantastic to get involved, especially from a social point of view. If you're not competing, you can participate socially, and maybe if you're a corporate and you need to do some team building, then Western Cape Climbing has got something for you. We'll be back after the break. Don't go away.